I shared the notice, and even Dr. Taylor, they shared the recordings, but I don't know what is Alex is failing to do, because even I had communicated to him that today I was not planning to come.
We have received the notes, but we have not received the recording.
The recording. Can I, in which group are you? Because you must have groups where you share even the emails.
A group for BCom external.
Be what?
BCom external.
But BCom external, the class coordinator was part of a group here.
Yeah, but he has not shared the recordings yet. He shared the notes, but not the recording.
Alex is the class coordinator for BACon, but I expected that he's going to represent all groups at once. Am I clear?
Yes, please.
Yes?
From BBA, we do not have.
You do what?
BBA. We don't have.
Maybe if you are not having, then your class coordinator should be accountable.
And we don't have the
But what I'm saying, that both me and Dr. Taylor shared a recording of the lectures we have been giving this previous week. Let me see who is raising up a hand. Nalubega Maria, what are you saying? Nalubega Maria. I want to begin. Can we begin?
Yes,
Lenia.
Doctor,
Lenia.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, I have a suggestion of sharing the recording so the notes only with Alex. Share it with all the class coordinators of all the courses, because some of us don't even know Alex. We don't even know.
No, but what I'm saying
so
is that class coordinators have a group of all coordinators. Okay, let me begin. What am I going to present? I'm going to present one is theory of production. Topic number 2 will be game theory, and topic number 3 will be choice making and uncertainty. Now, the other topic will be covered by Dr. Taylor and Dr. Nyanzi. Is that okay? Now, with the introduction today, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about theory of the firm, objectives of the firm, the principal agent problem, BOMO, sales revenue maximization, and the model assumptions and the criticisms. So with the introduction, what's the production function? A production function is basically shows a technical relationship that connects factor inputs and output. It shows a technical relationship which connects factor inputs and output, which means that there must be use of technology to transform factor inputs into an output. There must be use of technology to transform factor inputs into an output. For example, guys, if you have any question, you have to raise up the hand. Every time I use I complete a slide, I'll allow some questions. I will allow some questions by raising up the hand every time I complete a slide. If there's anything you don't understand on a slide, please raise up your hand and we'll help you. Or you can type in a chat the question you have. That's how you are going to be speaking to each other. Otherwise, I've muted you all because you are not behaving. Now, what I'm saying, for example, production function, you can be producing pancakes. When you are producing pancakes, that is your farm that is producing pancakes. How do you transform pancakes? You must know the inputs. How do you combine? How do you combine cooking oil? How can you combine bananas? How do you combine flour, maize flour, and so on to produce pancakes? So there must be a technology applied to transform. So the inputs are going to be transformed into an output, but the output will be totally different, look different from the factor inputs that you have applied. Mobile phones. What do you need to do that? If you are producing books, laptops, and so on. So those are firms producing different outputs. So that is a method of combining factor inputs to produce a particular output. If you have questions regarding that, yeah, okay. So I'm going to proceed to, there are different theories of these firms, why they exist. First of all, that they have been developed in microeconomics, but they aim to explain the behavior and the nature of these firms, why firms behave in different ways. Modern firms focus on firms as unit of organization that transform inputs into an output. So mainly the firms of different nature, of different size, why they are established is basically for them to transform inputs into factor outputs. Others come to just the traditional that look at as purchasers of inputs, and then it facilitates in the market or selling of goods and services. What are the objectives of the firm? What are the objectives of the firm? Why are firms established? Can I share your views before you get mine? Why are the firms established? You raise up your hand. You raise up your hand, please. Tom Wamala, let me allow you to Tom Wamala, speak to us. Unmute yourself and speak to us, sir.
Basically, for purposes of making profits.
Basically?
For purposes of making profits.
Okay, that is one. Another one? Do you have another one, please? Why firms are established? We are examining reasons why firms are established. Can we have another one, please? What should be your objective if you are to introduce a firm? There is the Rebecca N. Can you speak to us, please?
Yes, sir. Firms exist to create jobs.
To get what?
To create jobs for the people.
To get jobs for the people, okay. But Rebecca.
Please.
Rebecca.
Yes, sir.
I remember you in the previous macro class.
There is some parts that I didn't concentrate, so I want to go through again.
You didn't concentrate and you wasted your data. Joseph Ogwang, can you speak to us? Joseph Ogwang.
Yes, like for the case of the government may start off on young. Okay, like for the sake of the government may start up for a farm to provide the essential services that might not be.
Okay.
Yeah, the government may start
okay, that is okay.
A farm in order to provide essential services to the public.
Okay. Okay, then we have another one who has raised up
not
the
be
hand.
set up by the
Do you have another
private
one?
individual just for the sake of the essential services.
Okay, that is good. Then Tom Wamala, you are coming back again. Someone was raising up a hand. Let me see. Who is that person raising up a hand? You have put it down. Okay. The first objective I'm talking about here for a farm is basically reasons why they are established. Maximize profit. Farms will maximize profit at a point where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. And this one is called marginalistic principle. It's called marginalistic principle. What is marginal cost? Marginal cost is the derivative of the revenue with respect to output. So when you differentiate marginal revenue and when you differentiate total cost and you differentiate also total revenue, you get what we call marginal cost and marginal revenue. When you get the two and solve them, you get the output level that corresponds to the profit maximization principle. That is called marginalistic principle. Behavior. Farms prefer having a particular size and a growth. So sometimes some farms, the moment they achieve that objective, that for example, our objective is to supply Africa. You can establish a farm where you are thinking beyond Uganda. The moment you reach Africa, then it means that you have achieved your objective of satisfying Africa, not the whole world. Your objective would have achieved and the satisfactory profit would have been achieved. Managerialism is another objective we can talk about. That is when they prefer maximizing sales. When they produce goods and services that they aim at selling as much as possible. And the sales will be at maximum when total revenue is at maximum. When total revenue is at maximum, then marginal revenue will be zero. When you equate marginal revenue will be zero, it means that you are in a position to solve the output level Q, which must be produced that correspond to the sales maximization principle. Am I communicating? So that is the other objective of the farm. So increasing the market share. Somebody may be more comfortable when is the one controlling the market. For example, MTN enjoys the largest market share of the telecom industry. Are you aware of that? That MTN leads the market share in Uganda, and they are mainly their competitors are Airtel. Others are followers of Jesus Christ. So that can be another objective for you to attain a given market share. For example, Mackay University. Mackay University its aim is to be the leading university in Africa, to be number one in Africa. It struggles and stops around number 3. So, but I think it is still working towards becoming number one, in Africa. So we shall be there with time. Just pray for us when you also do your part. Now, long run survival. Some people, some farms may prefer. What is the question?
It doesn't shrink for when margin comes.
Patrick?
Unless you will you undo it around? No, when it comes and then it's like I'm outside, obviously.
Patrick, please speak to us. Patrick, unmute yourself and speak to us. Patrick.
Like some people you have not.
You guys, if you are I don't want people talking in my class. Okay, let me proceed. Long run survival. Some farms prefer an output level that the moment for them they survive, That is their objective, to remain in all seasons when they are there. So their aim is not getting maximum profit, not getting a bigger market share, but provided they are still in existence. That can be another objective of the farm. Okay? Creating a good image. Those ones who want to use community services for the community, they can be producing goods and services, provided that the community is satisfied with the services. For them, their aim is not to expand. Okay. Entry limitation. Entry limitation. Some people prefer to remain monopolies in their businesses. To remain. The moment they see some competitor coming, they discourage that person from entry by setting a price that is too low to attract other firms to enter. That's what we call limit pricing. Limit pricing. You set a price that limits other firms to enter your business. So you want to remain always alone. So those are the major objectives I've talked about. You can add others. Those who wanted to create jobs, that point is captured under the community, getting a good image and whatever, a good employer and the useful part of the community. That is the one who talked about the points of employment. That one can be captured under this here. Okay? You are supposed to have a good image with the community because you are giving jobs to that community and the community feel very satisfied with that farm. So even though you are not making a profit, but the children are employed. So those are the major objectives. If you have questions towards this, please raise up the hand now before I move to another slide. If you don't have any questions, I can go to the principal agent problem. If you have any questions, please, anything that I need to repeat, just say it me and raise up your hand, and then I address that issue quickly. If everything is clear, then I can proceed. There is somebody, Alfred Bossa. Bossa, unmute yourself and speak to us.
Yes,
We can't hear you, sir. Can you get typed to a chat? I will address you at a later stage. Just go to a chat. Nakauka Flavia, can you speak to us, please?
Thank you, sir. Can you please explain more about marginalistic principle?
Marginalistic?
Yes, sir.
Marginalistic principle is the one which is maximizing profit. It works with marginal. That's why we call it marginalistic, because this is this one, it works, the objective is achieved at a point where marginal cost here is balancing with the marginal revenue. So the word comes from here, marginalistic, because this is marginal cost, additional cost incurred in producing an output. This is additional revenue, which you call marginal revenue. So that's the marginalistic principle, that marginal revenue will be equal to marginal revenue, marginal cost. That's what we call marginalistic principle. Semakura here has raised up a hand. Speak quickly. I want to proceed to another slide.
Let's talk about behaviorism.
Behaviorism. Hey, okay. Behaviorism, I talked about behaviorism, meaning that you behave the way you behave because you have attained a particular level of growth and a size. Then that is your behavior, behaviorism. For example, you people, when you buy a car, you may think that you have reached heaven, because your goal was to achieve a car. Since you have achieved a car, you behave as if you are the richest person in this world. That is behaviorism. Your behavior changes totally. Am I clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When you achieve a given level of size, and behaviorism can also happen in Makerere, for example. Some people, you may find that, this paper, I failed it. And someone is crying that he failed the paper, he got 72. But someone who has 60 is celebrating, I passed excellently. You see the difference? The other than his behavior, his aim was not getting 80. His aim was passing. Passing is 50. Now he has even got 60. He's very happy. Behaviorism. Behave as if they have reached in heaven. Some people, when they buy cars, they can even make a party. Some people who are not expecting something and say, they can behave as if they have reached in heaven. That is behaviorism. It's even behavior when people, they reach the given status when they are not expecting it. That is behaviorism. So when you achieve a given size, like if you are covering the entire Africa, you started with one branch, but you have reached Africa, all branches all over Africa. That is a given size, growth, satisfactory. So you can find yourself, you have achieved that objective. Let me proceed to the principal agent problem. So the principal agent problem, someone is raising up a question here. It means, can a firm be established to exploit the idle resources, doctor? That is okay. That is still okay. That is okay. I have no problem with that. There are several reasons. The principal agent problem. The principal agent problem exists between the farm owners, and the managers. You know, modern farms are very large and complex. So what do the owners do? The owners hire manager who work on behalf of them. So the managers are agents who works for the principals. The principals are the owners of these farms. Now, the problem arises, the principal agent problem arises. Remember, the principal is the owner, the agent is the one who is working for the principal, who is the manager. Now, the problem arises that when a manager may pursue objectives which deviate from the objectives of the owners. The owners may want to increase profit, but the managers pursue objectives which reduce the profits of the owners. That becomes a principal agent problem because you pursue objectives which deviate from each other. Managers may pursue objectives, for example, paying large salaries. They want to pay themselves very high, huge salaries, expenditure on travelers. They want to pay themselves allowances for children, housing allowance, travel allowance, insurance allowance, school fees allowance, and so many other allowances. All of these, you find that they reduce the profits of the owners. The more you increase the budget of paying yourself, you're reducing the profits of the owners. For example, managers of banks, you may find that they're getting over 100 million per month. In addition to that, they pay themselves other allowances. And these are mainly due to the fact that the owners would find it very difficult to distinguish between benefits that promote profits from those that do not promote profits. You cannot easily tell that when you make these workers very happy, can that increase profits? You cannot tell whether this one will increase profit or this one cannot increase profits. So that is the principal agent problem. Different objectives are being pursued. And the principal agent problem also exists between the owners and the workers. Owners and the workers, as well as between owners and the managers. So everybody will be pursuing objectives which are totally different. So within the institution, other people are also pursuing objectives which are totally different. You may think someone is very serious, even right now. I may think that people are very serious in attending classes, but they are totally doing their other business. Totally doing their other business. How do we control you? These firms put what we call bonuses. Have you heard about such? They put those kind of things, rewards, to encourage people to pursue objectives of the firm. That every time you work very hard, you'll be rewarded more. in addition to your salary. Those are bonuses. That's how the firms can manage to control, to reduce these problems. That is the principal agent problem. If you don't understand, if you have not understood my point, just raise up the hand before I proceed to the next slide. If there is any problem, please raise up the hand, and before I go to another slide, or type in a chat. Any questions regarding the principal agent problem? Raise up the hand and you unmute yourself and speak to us. Some people may be not knowing how to raise up a hand also. You need to teach them. Yes, somebody with who? Just unmute yourself. Chad, David.
Thank you, doctor. Is there another kind of principal agent problem?
Can you do what?
Thank you, doctor. Is there another problem of principal agent problem?
Is there another?
Is there another type of a principal agent problem?
Another type?
Yes, sir.
Are you talking about in terms of examples or what?
The types, like you said, principal agent problem is between owners and managers, and workers and manage owners. Is there another type?
No. I'm saying that whenever there is an institution and there are two different categories of people, everybody's working in different objectives, pursuing different objectives. So within the institution, I think those are the categories of people. They are owners, okay? The owners is the first class of people. Number two, they are the managers, and they are the last group. Both managers are divided. There are those people who are working for the managers as well. Okay, those are the three who can exist in a firm. Maybe you can, yeah. So we go to BOMO, sales revenue maximization. William Bomo introduced a motto. Bomo. Yes, I've said William Bomo. This one, William Bomo, he deviated slightly from the objectives we have stated that some managers may prefer not to maximize profit, but rather to maximize sales. That the manager's major objective is maximizing sales rather than profit. And this is called the sales revenue maximization principle. So firms focus most of their energies in maximizing sales rather than profit. Okay? So, however, they also argue that even though the firms are maximizing sales, somebody's asking me a question. Are there other ways of limiting the principal agent problem? You can limit in terms of management. You can always find ways of management or modern technologies, use of modern technologies, use of cameras. There are certain things you can control immediately. If you say you can know that workers are going to come very late and others are not going to deliver, you put the supervisory mechanism such that you force people to come to be there to produce. Sometimes you can put in terms of payment that I'm not going to pay you a salary, but I'm going to pay you in terms of output produced. So you make workers produce an output which you are aiming at, such that somebody knows at the end, the more I work is the more money I'll be getting. All that you'll be doing to solve the principal agent problem. So that is the other ways you can reduce the principal agent problem. So I was still saying that firms always, managers prefer maximizing sales rather than profit. But at the same point in time, the more you maximize sales, still somehow the profits will be increasing. The profits will be increasing. That is what I can say. So, and Bomo advanced several reasons why we need to focus on maximizing sales and not focusing on maximizing profits. He advanced several reasons why firms need to maximize profits, need to maximize sales, but not profits. These are the reasons that were advanced. These are the reasons that were advanced why firms need to maximize sales rather than profit. The reasons that were advanced are, one is that payment of top managers is more closely related to increasing level of sales. Payment of top managers is more associated. Top managers, when they are paid basing on increasing level of sales, but not profit, because the profits goes in the pockets of the owners. And in this way, that firms will always, whenever they keep on expanding, they are getting new customers, it means that they are performing. For example, if you are the manager of a bank and you started a bank with one branch, automatically when you manage to convince other the owners and you perform so well and you expand the customer base all over 200 branches all over Uganda, it means that you are performing excellently because you're even increasing market share and so on. That means that your earning will keep on increasing, because that is one of the performance indicators. Take a simple example. A manager of a branch cannot earn the same money with the manager of 200 branches. Basically, the other will be performing better. It means that is a good performer. That's the first reason, payment of top managers. So your payment always rely on increasing level of sales, but not increasing profit, because the profit goes in the pockets of the owners. Number two, some people misbehave. Number two, banks and other financial institutions always will keep a keen eye. We keep a keen eye or a close eye on the sales of the firms and are more willing to lend money on these financial firms that have large or increasing sales. When you go to a bank to get a loan, any firm that goes to a bank to get a loan, they will ask you the books, which shows that if your sales have been increasing, it means that you are in capacity to get the loan. But if the sales are declining, it means that it will be an indicator also that you are not performing so well, and the firm is likely to close. Because if the sales are decreasing, it means that automatically you are in the almost reaching a shutdown point. So that's why firms and financial institutions like to lend money to those kind of firms whose incomes are increasing. So number three, personal problems are handled more satisfactorily when sales are growing. So most workers have problems which need to be solved, but when they feel more happy, and actually the managers can manage, if these workers have done so well, the sales have been increasing, even their problems can be easily solved. Okay, because it means that they are performing. Number four is that large sales of growing over time give prestige to managers. How do you feel if you are the president of the whole world? You are managing all the whole world beyond Uganda, or you are the president of Africa. How do you feel if you have been managing Stanbic Bank, which is in Uganda? Now it has expanded all over Africa, and you are the manager managing all over Africa. You feel more prestigious. That's how it is. Now, also, managers prefer steady performance than unpredictable profits, because profits can run into problems. One, today you make a profit of 1 million, tomorrow you make a loss. It means that even the managers, the owners will not be satisfied. It means that you never performed. So the profits are never predictable at any time. You can make a loss, you can do whatever, price can decrease. But here, maintaining your customer base is somehow more easier than maintaining steady profits. So that are the major reasons advance for the firms. At what time did this lecture start? Someone help me, I beg. Okay. Can I proceed, guys? If you have some questions, you can. Constraint for you. If you don't get it, you lose Makerere. We can even dismiss you. So that is the condition. That's what we call sub minimum profit. So even here, if you have seen those ones, the guys who are following these sports football, they give them minimum performance they must achieve to remain managers of these firms. So the minimum profit constraint is determined in advance. The profit which they want is also determined in advance before anything happens. And also, the firm is oligopolistic in nature, and now you have started behavior. You have started misbehaving. Okay. Now, oligopolistic in nature, meaning that these firms produce and they produce a single product and they incur traditional costs. Traditional costs, you know the cost how it has fixed costs and it has variable costs. And the revenue curves are always assumed that the markets are imperfectly competitive. It implies that this one where that all parties do not have full information and the participants can influence prices. That means that they are imperfectly in nature. That's how the characteristics of oligopolistic firms. And Bomo explained two types of equilibrium. One with sales maximization with and without a profit constraint, as it is going to be explained in the diagram I'm going to draw. So be attentive. Be attentive. Be attentive. Here, I don't like these diagrams that I've drawn in advance, but I'm going to be forced to share a new one whereby I'm going to draw so this is the output. We put output here always. It's a straight line. This is cost, revenue, and profits. Three things. You can put them in words. And this is always 0 is our beginning mark. Let me change the color here to a blue one. So this is the cost, guys. Don't get lost. This is the cost. This is revenue is R. I've abbreviated with R. Profit, I've used the pi. You can type words if you want, profit. Now, my cost curve is increasing. So this is my total cost curve. It is cubic in nature. And it doesn't begin from 0, because even though there is output is 0, there is what we call a fixed costs that are being incurred here. That's a traditional cost you must have done in year 1. Now, after getting this, the revenue curve, if you have not produced anything, you don't get the revenue, because revenue is price times output, which is Q. Since it is price times output, which is Q, you automatically you get revenue. If output is 0, you don't get any revenue. Okay. Now, when you come to revenue, it begins from 0. It goes on increasing. It reaches a maximum, and this is the sorry. So this is my revenue curve. Vanishing pen. So let me see. Whiteboard here. This is my output. So the revenue curve is here. This is my revenue curve. Okay. Now, what is the profit? Profit is the difference between revenue minus costs. So it is the gap between revenue and the costs. Here, both of the two revenue is equal. So output Q1, this is output Q2. This is output Q2. The two are equal between this and this one. Okay. When they are equal, profit will be 0. Now, at this point, profit at below output OQ1, the total cost is higher than the revenue. So the profit will be negative. Between here and this gap, the profit will start increasing. It reaches a maximum where the gap is highest, around here, at that output level. That is where maximum profit will be attained. So this is the profit curve, pi. So this is if a profit maximizer will produce output pi, where profit is at maximum. Where profit is at maximum. Now, a revenue maximizer, no, first, before that, a profit maximizer will produce at the maximum point. That's the profit you get. Can I call it pi 1? So that's the maximum profit that can be generated by one. Now, a revenue maximizer will operate at a point where revenue is at maximum, and that is at this point. So is output Q, can I call it R or revenue maximizer, something like that. So he gets a profit which is here at this, where this line meets the profit curve, by 2. By 2. That's a profit that is got. He gets a profit that is by 2. Let me call it, for example, 1,000 here. Dollars. And the profit maximizer maybe is getting around $3,000. Now, what we observe from here, at this point, for a profit maximizer, let me use another color, this one. At this point, this, we say that the slope of the revenue curve, the R, the Q revenue curve. Curve here, the C, the Q, which is marginal cost. At this point, the two slopes MC must be equal to MR. The two slopes must be the same. When you solve that, you are in position to get this output level Q pi. Now, for a profit, a revenue maximizer is operating at this point here, where the revenue is at maximum. And when the revenue is at maximum, the slope of that curve is 0. That is the R, the Q is equal to MR, which is equal to 0. At that point, when the slope is 0, you are able to solve for this output QR, which is the profit maximizer. So what do we note from here? What we note is that a profit maximizer is going to produce lower output Q pi, and the revenue maximizer is going to produce a higher output QR. And a profit maximizer gets a higher profit by 1 than a sales revenue maximizer, which is a profit by 2. Now, there are two types of profits. Remember that the profits are set in advance for you. And the profits which are set in advance can be two ways. One, we can have what we call operative profit constraint and non-operative profit constraint. Let me choose which other color. This. Down here. Below this, remember the revenue maximizer is getting this profit. Since it's getting this profit by 2, this any profit that is set that is below is called non-operative profit constraint. Is called non-operative profit constraint. Is called non-operative profit constraint. And any profit that is set above what you get is called operative profit constraint. Is called operative profit constraint. So this one can be pi 3, this can be pi 3, this one can be pi 4. So why is this one non-operative profit constraint? Because here, when you produce using your objective of maximizing sales, you get a profit, for example, $1,000. But for them, they have set for you a profit of, for example, 500. So they have set a profit which does not stop you from getting your objective. So this one is not a constraint to you. It does not stop you from pursuing your objectives, but you achieve both. They require the profit of 500, but for you have got a profit of 1,000. They are more happy than what they have set. That means that that profit they set for you is not a constraint to you. It cannot stop you from achieving your objectives. Now, the other one, which is above, like here, it can be 2,000. They have set for you a profit of 2,000, But when you want to maximize revenue, you get a profit of 1,000. It means that you are not performing. That means that in such a situation, you cannot continue pursuing your goal of maximizing sales. So this one becomes operative profit constraint because it stops you from pursuing your objective of maximizing sales, and you reduce an output level up to this level such that you get a profit which is required of 2,000. That means such a condition is called operative profit constraint because it stops you from pursuing your objective of maximizing sales. So if you have questions, can you ask, please? Can you ask me questions, please? Someone is asking about the profit curve. Rebecca, what's the problem? First of all, let me see. Unmute yourself, please, and speak to us.
Okay.
Rebecca?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm kindly begging your pardon. If you could please repeat once, and I try to understand everything. Otherwise, I do understand, except I want to.
So, Doctor, there is this part of non-operative constraints and the operative constraints.
Yeah.
That is why I want a pattern. That is the only part I want you to re-explain.
Okay. Another one?
It curve.
Musoke, what's the problem, Musoki?
Yes, I wanted you to explain, okay, put more emphasis on the operative and non-operative. And also, I wanted to put the curve a bit above so that you can see what's on the horizontal axis.
Ah, okay. I can get you. Okay. Next. Do you have more people asking questions? Drawing. Okay. That is one. Okay, I'm trying to draw this, combine that there and there, and text. So here, but I'm not going to go into this. Costs. We have costs here. We have revenue here. And we have profits here. And here, Okay. It's a curve. This is the revenue curve. So this is revenue curve. Okay, when you come here, I think that is clear. Revenue curve. You get this profit. So this is the cost curve here. Cost curve here. Okay, now so at this point, we said that the revenue and the cost curve are equal. When you incur the same revenue and the same output, you automatically you have zero profit. Q1 and Q2. Q1 and Q2. Between Q1 and Q2, the firm incurs the same amount of revenue and the profit. So the difference between revenue minus costs, that's the gap. If these two are equal, then that is the profit is zero. So at this point, revenue curve is equal to the cost curve. So meaning that the gap is zero. And the gap is at maximum around here. The gap is highest. It means that you get the highest profit around here. Now, when you, between here, before output is zero, the firm is incurring losses because the cost is higher than the revenue. That's why the profit is under negatives. This side they are negatives, this side they are positive up. So that's why I'm saying it is negative. Here the gap starts increasing because revenue starts increasing and the costs are a bit lower. So the profits starts increasing up to around here where there is a maximum. I can say that to be a maximum there. Then it decreases because the gap goes on decreasing until it reaches a point here. It becomes zero. Profits are zero because revenue again is equal. But beyond here, costs are higher. It means that if costs are higher, it means that the firm incurs losses. So this is the profit curve. This is the profit curve. Now, we said that a profit maximizer will operate at this maximum point. So this is the output Q pi. And we said the revenue maximizer will operate at a point where revenue is at maximum. Revenue, I think, is at maximum around here. QR. That's where this revenue curve reaches the highest point this side. That's what we are talking about. Reaches the highest point this side. So it means that it gets a profit, which is this one. A revenue maximizer gets a profit, which is pi 1. And the profit maximizer gets a profit, which is pi 2. This is where the level is pi 2. And I said this on this line, I said on this line, if they fix a profit, this is the profit you are getting if you maximize sales. When you maximize sales, this is the level of profit you are getting. I want to shade this. So this is the profit you are getting. For example, 2,000. If they are fixed for you 2,000, this is what you get when you maximize your sales. But if they have fixed you any profit that is below that, we call it non-operative profit constraint. It's called non-operative because that profit level they have set for you, like here, it does not stop you from continue maximizing your sales and still get a higher profit, which is 2,000 than this one they have set for you. It's too low. It can't stop you from achieving your objective. Now, if that is what we call non-operative profit constraint. This one is called non-operative profit constraint. Why? Because it does not stop you from achieving. They have set for you 1,000. Can you stop from achieving 1,000 as a profit? Insert. They have set for you 1,000 here. They have set for you around here 1,000. And for you, when you achieve your objective, you get 2,000. So this profit is too low, does not stop you from achieving your objective. But in case they set for you a profit beyond what you are getting here. Remember, you are getting 2,000. But if they have set for you like 2,500 here, around here, this one is called operative profit constraint. Operative profit constraint. Because it requires you to reduce your output level. It requires you to reduce your output level from 2 pi to this level. Insert drum this. For you to get that profit, you must lower that output from QR to Q something, to a value here, you can call it Q6. When you continue producing QR, you won't make the target of the profit that was set for you. You have to reduce the output from achieving your objective, which gets lower profit, to produce less output, which gets higher profit to meet the conditions of the owners. That's what we call operative profit constraint. And I remember I said here, the MC is equal to MR, and here MR is equal to 0. Those are things I've explained. If you have more questions, please raise them now because I'm proceeding. So the principles are always the one which sets advance the profit you must get in any business. So if you have more questions, please raise them now. If you don't have questions, allow me to proceed. I'm about to complete. There is Mary. What's the problem again? First wait, and I unmute yourself and speak to us. Musok Mary.
I don't know about Mary. Yes, I'm here. I haven't got the operative profit constraint so well.
Operative?
Yes.
I said this is the profit curve. Okay?
Yes.
And I said a profit maximizer will operate around this point when the profit is at maximum, right?
Yes.
This is the profit he gets by 1. I'm drawing only one graph. And I said that a profit maximizer will operate at this point, for example, under the other diagram. When you operate at this diagram, this is the profit you get of a revenue maximizer. But they have set for you, this is the output you are producing, QR. But for example, they have set for you a profit which is here, For you to be in a position to get this profit, Q3 pi 3, you have to reduce output and produce this output Q4 here. So you can't continue producing this output and you stay with that job. You'll not be performing because this output gives you a profit which is lower than what is required. For them, they have set for you a higher profit, meaning that it is a constraint to you because it stops you from achieving your objective and you reduce the output from QR to Q4. But if it is non-operative, the profit is lower. When the profit is lower, like here, this is non-operative because they have set for you a very low profit here. When you maximize your objective, you get a higher profit. Why are you bothered with lower profit they have set for you? It's not. Like people here, when we set them a pass mark of 50, some people are getting 90. So they are not bothered with that pass mark. So it is not a constraint to them. But some people, it is a 50% mark is a constraint to them that sometimes even they fail to get it and they retake the papers. Have you picked the message?
Yes, I
Some
have.
people are targeting 80, so 50% is not a constraint to them. They'll get like 90 or even 96. And others in this paper are going to get 40. That means that the other is still a constraint to you. It has stopped you from achieving your objective. So that is what I can explain.
Thank you.
So I'm concluding. I want to conclude. New share. Share that. So this is what we are concluding from there. The operative profit constraint of the firm has the following implications. Okay. The profit maximizer sells at a higher price than the sales revenue maximizer. The price of always a sales maximizer is lower and the profit maximizer is always higher. Number two, that the price at which output is sold is always the slope from the origin. When you get the price, remember the slope, you get the price. The derivative of revenue with respect to the origin will give you the price which is sold at that point. A sales maximizer produces more output, as we have seen the diagram, as compared to a profit maximizer. The sales maximizer will always spend more time in advertising. Will spend more time in advertising because you want to increase the level of sales. You want to increase the level of sales. So in such a situation, you have to keep on advertising as much as possible to get more customers. That is always a sales maximizer. Will spend more money in advertising. The sales revenue maximizer will earn lower profit. That one you have seen in the diagram as compared to a profit maximizer. And also, both of these firms will produce at a point where price of demand is equal to 1. That's what I can say. Now, remember, how do you do this? To get marginal revenue, we know that marginal revenue is a derivative. Take a derivative of total revenue with respect to Q, you get marginal revenue. But revenue, remember, revenue is price times quantity. But this price depends on output. That's what you have to note. So when you take the derivative of the product, you use the product rule. You keep one a constant P, you differentiate this, you get 1. You add the derivative of dP, dQ, and you are keeping Q a constant. So you get the definition of elasticity, which is the negative change in quantity demanded due to change in price times price over Q, which is equal to E. That's elasticity, price elasticity of demand. So you make a substitution for only this component dp dq times q. You get it from here, make a subject and substitute, you'll be able to get this answer. So that one you have to practice. The last slide for today, is on the criticisms of the model. Criticisms of the model. The model is criticized that model is only valid for large firms where there is a scope of a product differentiation. If the firms are not many, if the firms are many, you must be in a position to differentiate your product to look unique from others. But somehow this is not the case because we know that so many firms produce homogeneous product. And this one does not talk about the managerial behavior of the firm in relationship to the rival of other firms. And it ignores the interdependence of these ones. That firms can come together and operate like the oligopolistic firms. Under such a situation, when the firms come together, they cannot be in a position to employ this technology, this technique of maximizing your sales when you are working together. So also the argument of producing more than one output that a firm maximize may not be valid because it can choose to operate at any point. So the model is also based on the implicit assumption that the firm has a market. Sometimes these firms may not have the required market to produce the necessary output for you to maximize sales. So market penetration is not easy for all these firms. You may need to sell things in Europe, but sometimes even the standard, even the procedure, even the protocol. And the last thing is that the theory does not show how equilibrium will be attained in an industry where all firms are sales maximizers. So that is the lecture for today. Thank you for coming. If you have some questions, I want to go.
Thank you for the lecture, Doctor.
Okay. Anything? Okay, let me end the lecture. We shall meet next time, but please. What is it?
Wait, Doctor.
What's the issue?
Doctor, I have a question.
Yeah,
it says that given a farm given a farm that is engaged in production of maize and is faced with a cost function,
those things I shared, please don't go there.
I wrote the answers, but there is somewhere that I'm confused.
Yeah, but you should not get confused. You apply the principles which you have used today, and I think you have the notes. You have the notes?
Oh my God, when I Dr. Chinkos.
You have the notes?
Yes, we have the notes. Yes, we have.
And I've put a practicing question for you there. I put a practicing question for you.
Tomorrow. Are we
So
having
why are we meeting tomorrow? To repeat what we have studied today?
Yes, we can.
To repeat what?
Don't come
what you started today.
But the lecture, the recording is also there. If you want to repeat, you can listen to the recording. Guys, I want to end. Please, I shared the notes. What do you want? All these slides are from the notes.
Thank you, Doctor.
The slides are from the notes. Are you aware?
Yes, we are aware.
Yeah.
So what do they want?
We repeat tomorrow.
We repeat the first time.
No, I may not come tomorrow. I will depend on the number.
These guys are not serious. We repeat the first time.
Okay.
And I send the name and wrote. Will I go?
Yep.
We are not
I think we should learn only one thing.
okay.
Good night.
Recording stopped.